They paired me with that. I thought this was a tournament, not a babysitting gig. Jason, the wall, Briggs laughed into his mic, flashing his teeth as the studio audience chuckled. At 6 feet tall and built like a linebacker, he towered over the girl stepping onto the mat. She looked like a shadow beside him, small, bony, 15 years old, in a wrinkled red GI that hung off her frame like it belonged to someone twice her size. Her name, Nia Carter. She didn't say a word. She didn't flinch. Jason turned to the judges' table. Can I at least get a real opponent after this warm-up? The camera zoomed in on Nia's face. Her eyes were downcast. She adjusted her belt once. Then stepped forward onto the mat. Mark Henson, the host and lead judge, leaned into his mic. Let's give her some encouragement, folks, this is her first time on live TV. Another ripple of laughter. The bell hadn't rung, but the humiliation had already begun. Nia didn't blink. She placed one bare foot on the red circle. What she did next would silence the room, and break the broadcast script completely. Jason bounced on his heels, loosening up. You ready, little ninja? Nia didn't respond. Her stance remained closed. Defensive. Quiet. The announcer's voice blared, Jason Briggs, Florida State Junior Champion. And Nia Carter, representing, no dojo listed. The crowd tensed. Some whispered. Some smiled unkindly. Behind the camera wall, producer Zara Lynn furrowed her brow. That name. That movement. It felt familiar. Jason stretched his arm across the mat and mockingly offered a bow. As Nia stepped closer, he jerked his hand, and flicked water from his bottle across her chest. Laughter exploded. She wiped her face once with her sleeve. Her lips moved, barely a breath. Thanks for the disrespect. Jason grinned wide. You're welcome. Now fall fast, I've got real rounds next. The bell rang. Jason lunged with a classic push kick, just enough power to send someone flying. Nia sidestepped. Clean. Fluid. Then, she pivoted. The movement was fast, so precise that even the slow-motion replay wouldn't catch the beginning. Jason was in the air. Then he wasn't. He slammed flat onto the mat with a thud that made even the laughing judge drop his pen. It hadn't been a fluke. It had been a masterclass. And the girl they laughed at was standing in perfect form. Facing forward. Silent. Jason groaned, clutching his shoulder. The room froze. The referee paused. Continue. Jason stood shakily, red-faced. Beginner's luck. He rushed again, more aggressive now. A jab, a sweeping leg. But Nia was gone before each strike landed. Zara leaned into her earpiece. I've seen this before. That throw, her footwork, it's Nia Carter style. One of the camera techs replied, that's her mom. Wasn't she banned after that lawsuit? Zara nodded. But she trained this kid. Off the grid. Back on the mat, Jason lunged with a spinning elbow, sloppy with rage. Nia ducked. In one fluid motion, she hooked behind his knee, twisted her hips, and flipped him again. This time, he stayed down. 8 seconds. 10 seconds. Silence. The referee raised her hand. A single clap echoed. Then another. Then the crowd rose, roaring. The scoreboard blinked, winner, Nia Carter. Jason sat up, eyes wide. She's just a, what the hell are you, he breathed. Nia looked at him. For the first time, she smiled faintly. I'm who they said didn't belong here. She turned to leave. The lights above her followed like a spotlight. The crowd wasn't cheering for a comeback. They were cheering for a correction. Cameras zoomed. Microphones adjusted. But no one could frame what had just happened. Mark Henson tapped his papers awkwardly. Well, that was unexpected. Jason remained seated on the mat, fists clenched, jaw trembling. Zara Lynn stepped onto the broadcast floor, pulling her headset off. I knew that style. Her mother taught me once, in secret sessions after my scholarship was rejected for being too stiff. Mark turned, uncomfortable. Let's not derail the segment. Zara faced the camera. Derail it? That girl just rewrote the entire segment. Audience members began chanting, Nia. 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 Jason lowered his eyes. He wasn't angry anymore. Just, quiet. As Nia reached the mat's edge, she untied the red sash from her waist and placed it gently on the corner post. Then she bowed, not to the judges, not to the cameras, just to the mat. A camera crewman whispered, "Did you catch that last move?" "Every frame," said Zara. "That throw hasn't been seen in 12 years. "She's 15, another murmured. "Which means," Zara said, smiling, "her mother never left. She just passed it on." And right then, the story shifted, from a win, to a legacy. Nia walked off stage as the credits rolled early. No mic. No words. Just the image of her back disappearing behind the curtain. She didn't wait for interviews. She didn't wave. But the camera lingered on the red sash still tied at the edge of the mat, fluttering slightly under the stage lights. Jason watched in silence. Humbled. A judge whispered, "We'll never live this one down." Zara uploaded the match footage to her private archive. Title, The Return of Carter Style. By morning, the clip had 4.2 million views. But Nia never posted about it. Never claimed revenge. Never returned. She didn't need to. The fight was never about titles. Or proving strength. It was about presence. About timing. About what happens when those dismissed, belittled, and laughed at, take one step forward anyway. The crowd had cheered. The cameras had caught it. The judges had fallen silent. But it was the mat that remembered her name. Because long after the applause faded, the spotlight dimmed, and Jason's bruises healed. The red sash still hung there. Waiting for the next girl brave enough to claim it. She didn't scream. She didn't brag. She just moved with precision, and reminded the world that strength doesn't always look like power. Nia Carter taught us that dignity, when paired with discipline, can turn humiliation into history. Sometimes, the most powerful strike is silence, right before the fall. If her story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment your favorite moment, and subscribe for more true stories of quiet defiance.